The lights of the America's Got Talent stage blazed down on a nervous 16-year-old girl from a tiny fishing village in the Philippines, clutching a microphone like it was the only thing keeping her afloat. Maria Santos had never seen a city bigger than Manila, yet here she stood in Los Angeles, about to sing for 4 judges who could change her life forever. One note in, Simon Cowell's face crumpled, tears streaming down the cheeks of a man famous for breaking dreams. This is the story of how a song born in typhoon-ravaged reached across an ocean and shattered the toughest heart in show business. Subscribe now to witness every tear, every twist, and every triumph that proves talent has no borders. Maria's journey began 3 years earlier when Typhoon Rolly tore through her province of Albay like an angry god. The storm took her father's fishing boat, their small wooden house, and worst of all, her 8-year-old brother Miguel, who vanished in the floodwaters while trying to save the family dog. Maria had been at school when the sirens wailed. By the time she ran home through knee-deep mud, only her mother remained, sitting on the roof tiles that had once been their floor, cradling Miguel's soaked schoolbag. That night, under a sky that finally stopped crying, Maria made a promise to the stars. She would sing until the world heard her brother's name. Music had always lived in their home. Her father played guitar on the beach for tourists, earning a few pesos while Miguel danced barefoot in the sand. Maria inherited her mother's voice, the kind that could hush a room or lift a congregation. But after the typhoon, the guitar was gone, the tourists were gone, and the only thing left was grief thick enough to choke on. Maria's mother took sewing work in the city, leaving before dawn and returning after dark. Maria stayed behind to care for their rebuilt nipa hut and to keep Miguel's memory alive by singing to the sea every evening. She wrote her first song on the back of a relief agency rice sack, the lyrics scratched with a piece of charcoal. She called it, Brother of the Waves. Word of the girl with the heartbreaking voice spread through the barangay. A local priest recorded her on his phone during Sunday Mass and posted the clip to Facebook. It gathered 1,000 views, then 10,000, then 100,000. A music teacher in Legazpi City saw it and offered free lessons in exchange for Maria helping with younger students. She learned chords on a borrowed guitar, her fingers calloused from hauling water buckets now dancing across strings. When AGT announced open auditions in Manila, the teacher printed the form and handed it to Maria with a warning. They will eat you alive if you are not ready. Maria folded the paper into her pocket and told her mother she was going to bring Miguel home in the only way she could. The Manila audition day was chaos. Thousands of hopefuls crammed into a convention center, the air thick with hairspray and desperation. Maria wore her only good dress, a hand-me-down from her cousin, the hem still muddy from the bus ride. She sang an original song about a lighthouse keeper searching for ships that never return. The producer's eyes widened, the golden buzzer was pressed before she finished the chorus. A plane ticket to Los Angeles arrived 2 weeks later, along with a chaperone named Aunt Rosa, a distant relative who spoke no English and carried garlic cloves for protection against evil spirits. Los Angeles terrified Maria. The freeways roared like continuous typhoons. The hotel elevator made her stomach drop worse than any storm surge. She practiced in the bathroom mirror, telling herself the judges were just people, but every time she pictured Simon Cowell's scowl, her voice cracked. Aunt Rosa brewed salabot in the room's coffee maker and prayed the rosary aloud. On the morning of the live show, Maria received a text from an unknown number. Do not trust the British man. He will try to break you. She showed Aunt Rosa, who crossed herself and muttered about a swang in disguise. The stage doors opened, and the lights hit Maria like a spotlight from heaven. Howie waved kindly. Heidi smiled with perfect teeth. Sophia clapped in encouragement. Simon sat stone-faced, arms crossed. The host asked her name and story. Maria's English was careful, practiced from YouTube tutorials. I am Maria Santos, 16 years old, from Albay, Philippines. I sing for my brother Miguel, who was taken by the typhoon. This song is his lullaby. A photo of Miguel flashed on the screen behind her, gap-toothed and laughing on the beach. The audience sighed as one. She began a cappella, her voice small at first, then swelling like a wave gathering strength. The melody was simple, almost childlike, but the lyrics cut deep. She sang of a boy who chased crabs at sunset, who believed the sea would always give back what it took. By the second verse, phones lit up across the theater, recording every note. Howie's mouth hung open. Heidi dabbed her eyes with a manicured finger. Sophia gripped the table. Simon stared at the floor, jaw clenched so tight it looked painful. Then came the twist no one expected. Maria stopped mid-phrase. The orchestra, cued to join on the bridge, hesitated. Silence swallowed the auditorium. Maria's hands trembled. She spoke directly to Simon. Sir, before I finish, I must tell the truth. My mother did not want me to come. She said America forgets brown girls quickly. She fears I will sing my heart out and return with nothing but a broken dream. A ripple of gasps. Cameras zoomed in on Simon's face, now pale beneath the lights. Maria continued, voice shaking. But I told her dreams are like typhoons. They destroy, yes, but they also wash the land clean for new growth. She restarted the song, this time accompanied by a recorded track she had smuggled past producers, a track featuring her father's old guitar, salvaged and restrung by a neighbor. The sound was raw, slightly out of tune, utterly human. When she reached the final chorus, she sang Miguel's name like a prayer, and the backdrop shifted to a live feed. There, projected 20 feet high, stood Maria's mother in their rebuilt hut, tears streaming as she held Miguel's school bag. The connection had been arranged in secret by the same anonymous texter, revealed now as the Manila producer who believed in second chances. Simon Cowell broke, not the polite tear of a sentimental judge, but the ugly cry of a man remembering his own losses. He had never spoken publicly about his father, but in that moment, the audience saw it all. He stood, something he rarely did, and applauded while sobbing openly. The other judges followed. The crowd erupted into a standing ovation that shook the rafters. Golden confetti rained down, but Maria barely noticed. She was staring at her mother on the screen, both of them mouthing the same words, I love you. Backstage, chaos. Reporters shouted questions in English too fast to follow. Aunt Rosa brandished her garlic like a weapon. Simon appeared, eyes red, and asked for a private word. He led Maria to a quiet corner away from cameras. I need to tell you something, he said, voice hoarse. 20 years ago, I lost someone too. A brother. I never got to say goodbye properly. Your song, it was like hearing him again. He pressed a business card into her hand. This is my personal manager. Whatever happens tonight, you call her. We will make an album. Not for the show. For Miguel. The votes came in faster than any in AGT history. Maria advanced to the finals, but the bigger story exploded online. The anonymous text, traced to a hacker in Cebu who had lost his sister in the same typhoon and recognized Maria's village in the viral video. He had orchestrated the live feed to reunite mother and daughter on national television. The guitar track, recorded in a blackout after another storm, using a phone flashlight for light. Every layer peeled back revealed more heartbreak and more hope. Finals night arrived under a blood moon, or so the tabloids claimed. Maria wore a barong Tagalog made from pineapple fiber, embroidered with waves and stars by her mother's sewing circle. The pressure was crushing. Betting sites had her at even odds. A country singer with a tragic backstory and a viral dog act threatened to steal the crown. Maria's new song was titled, After the Storm, a duet with a surprise guest. The lights dimmed. A single spotlight hit the stage. Out walked a boy in a wheelchair, pushed by a nurse. The audience recognized him instantly, the dog act kid, but something was different. His legs were in braces, his smile shy. The backstory no one knew, he had been paralyzed in a car accident the week after his audition. Doctors said he would never walk again. Yet here he was, microphone in hand. The twist hit like lightning. Maria had visited him in the hospital, taught him the Tagalog chorus of her song. Together they sang of storms that break bodies but not spirits, of finding new ways to run along the shore. Simon wept again, this time joined by every judge. The dog, wearing a tiny barong, sat between them holding a Philippine flag. When the final note faded, the theater was silent for 3 full seconds, an eternity on live television, before the applause thundered so loud the sound engineers scrambled to adjust levels. The $1 million prize was almost anticlimactic. Maria won by the largest margin in AGT history. But the real victory came the next morning. A private jet, courtesy of Simon's label, flew Maria, her mother, Aunt Rosa, and the boy in the wheelchair back to Albay. They landed on a makeshift airstrip built by the community in the weeks she was gone. The entire village waited, along with camera crews from around the world. In her arms, Maria carried a check, not just for $1 million, but for something greater. She knelt by the shore where Miguel had last been seen and scattered flower petals into the waves. Then she turned to the cameras and announced the creation of the Miguel Santos Foundation, a music school for children affected by natural disasters, starting with her village and expanding across the Philippines. Simon arrived 2 days later, unannounced, wearing jeans and a plain white shirt, no entourage. He brought the master tapes of Maria's album, recorded in one take in a Los Angeles studio at 3 a.m. because neither of them could sleep. The first single, Brother of the Waves, hit #1 on Billboard within a week, the first song in Tagalog to do so. Proceeds funded the foundation. The boy in the wheelchair, now named Honorary Ambassador, learned to play ukulele and taught classes via Zoom. Years later, tourists visiting Albay would stumble upon a gleaming white building by the sea, its walls painted with murals of children singing under rainbows. Inside, Maria, now 21 and a global star, still taught every Saturday. She kept one classroom empty except for a single chair facing the ocean. On the chair sat Miguel's school bag, faded but repaired, a reminder that some songs never end.